wait.
As the court pleases, my lord. They haven't called the cases yet. As the court please, my lord, we stood down on Friday. There's just one aspect that we'd like to take up with the witness. May we do so, my lord? And that appears on page 29, my lord, of Exhibit 01.
Mr. Kane, you're still under oath, you know that. Page 20,
Page 29, my lord.
exhibit number D.
No, Exhibit O in brackets.
Oh, sorry, O.
1.
Yeah. In brackets, 1. Fine.
Yes. This regards the chart that the witness testified about.
Okay.
Colonel, you told the court on Friday that the communication as we see there on the chart, that Mr. Mabungu Ntuli, it's accused number 5, and it shows that he had contact with accused number 1 and 2. Would you like to put that in perspective?
That's correct, my lord. I did give it wrong to the court. It's actually late. It's not number 5.
So,
Mabungu is a late person.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but for our purposes, you say it is not number 5.
That's
Yes.
not number 5.
Yes.
So it's not one of the suspects in court. It's
Right.
a late person
Yes.
It's a person.
who's died.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Who did what? That person who died did what?
But as far as
Okay,
that communication is concerned, what does it signify?
It signified that there was communication between him and suspect number 3, Carlos.
Shothi lo mabhungu lona okhulunywa ngaye uyena ke uke waxhumana nomsola wesithathu uCarlos. Hayi ukuthi sikhuluma ngomsola wesihlanu la. Sikhuluma ngomabhungu okuyena ke oseke walahlekelwa impilo yakhe akasekho. Waxhumana ke nommangalelo kanye umsola wesithathu umabhungu.
And the two, the late person and suspect number 3 did communicate with each other.
Kanti bake bakhulumisana ke umufi lo sikhuluma ngaye lana sesho mabhungu nomsola wesithathu.
And then Mabungu, the late person, did communicate with suspect number 1, Sabia Musi.
Kanti ke uke wakhuluma futhi noSibiya Umuzi yena lo mabhungu oseshonile manje.
As well as Mabungu did communicate with Ntanzi, suspect number 2.
Kanti waphinde futhi wakhulumisana naye ke okanye waxhumana naye umsolwa wesibini uNtanzi.
So, in brief, Colonel, is that Ngube, accused number 3, did not communicate directly with accused 1 and 2, but there was that common contact, namely the late Mr. Mabungu Ntuli.
That's correct, my lord.
Yebo kuyiqiniso uNcube akazange ake akhulume waqonda lona ummangalelo wokuqala nowesibini kodwa ke wakhulumisana nomabhungu waxhumana nabo ngomabhungu.
Thank you, my lord. That is all.
Okay. You may be seated if you so desire.
My lord, you requested on Friday
The distance, yes.
Yes, yes.
I did measure it.
Okay.
The distance between the crime scene and the clinic,
Yeah.
it's 4.02 kilometers.
Kanti ke ngingazama ukuthola ibanga ke ngoba inkantolo iye yangicela ukuthi manje ngiyobheka ke ama distance kanjalo kusuka lapha endaweni esigameko ukufika lapha na ke ku clinic I distance ithi 4 kilometers 0.02.
And then the distance between the crime scene and the hostel, it's 5.23 kilometers.
Kanti ukusuka khona lapha endaweni esigameko ukufika hostel I distance ithi 5.23 kilometers.
Okay.
And these distances, is that as the crow flies or as perhaps as you were to drive to
It's
this post.
as per drive. It's not
Directly.
Like it's not like the bird flies.
Yes.
That's correct.
Le distance lena ke akuyona ke I distance ethathwa nje emoyeni. Futhi I distance ethathwa umuntu uma eshayela imoto mhlawumbe noma ehamba ngeenyawo phansi.
Thank you, my lord. That is all.
Yes, Mr. Rapisa. Any cross-examination?
As the court pleases, my lord. Morning, Colonel.
Morning.
Now, your testimony is that on the 9th of April 2020, you received a CD, section 205, and download from your commander, Brigadier Gininda, with information about certain targets, correct?
That's correct, my lord.
Yebo kuyiqiniso ke ukuthi ngeke ngathola ke nge9 zika April 2020 okuyi disk lena ke kanti ke ne section 205 nama downloads ayiqhamuka khona lapha ku uKenneth Ulokhunjani uGininda mayilana ke nama targets athizo ngabantu abathize abebeloko ke bebathungatho kanti ba checka ke profile yabo.
And would I be correct to say at the time the targets were the people that were in the house at the time the incident occurred? Were those the targets, the people that were inside, namely Makumalo, Kelly Kumalo, Zandile Kumalo, Mtokozi Sitwala, Longwe Twala, and Tumelo Madala?
That's correct. We tried them as targets at the time.
Yebo ngaleso sikhathi ke labo bantu esekhulunywa ngabo yibona ke sasibabuka njenge target okanye ama targets wethu sikhuluma ngoMakhumalo sikhuluma ngoKelly Khumalo Zandi Khumalo sikhuluma ngoMthokozisi Khumalo sikhuluma ngolongwe ethwala naye uLokhunjani uTumelo Madlala bonke labantu ababesendlini yibona ke esasibuka njenge ngama targets wethu.
Now, when you are handed these items, did Brigadier Gininda give you a background information about the incident concerned?
He did give me a short background. He mentioned to me it was a murder case, a forced arrest case, and the case number, and they asked me to analyze and see which linkages I can establish.
Yebo ngempela ke uma ke ezonginikeza lezi zinto ke ngikhuluma ngazo ubaba uGininda ukwazile nje ukuthi makanginikeze nje imvelaphi yalento anginikeza yona kancanyana nje okanye ke okufinciwe wase uyangicela nokuthi mhlambe ngizama ukukuhlaziya lokho.
And you take over the investigation as it pertains to analysis of call details records in 2020, and the incident occurs in October 26, 2014. Were there previous analysis done on those targets' cell phone numbers?
I didn't receive any analysis from him. I agree it should be done because it was investigated by different teams. But I didn't receive it. I only received the raw data from the service provider. I didn't receive any chart from any other analyst.
Shothi ke akukho kunye engengakuthola okuqhamuka komunye umuntu ohlaziyayo. Mina ngathola nje ulwazi olusadinga ukuthi lihlaziwe. Njengoba ke kungama calls okanye ke incingo ezenziwa ke ngo2020. Kanti sona isigameko senzeke ngoOctober 2014. Akekho ke omunye umuntu oke wangilethela ke ulwazi oluthize ulwazi esingathi ke ukuthi ulwazi oluhlaziyiwe. Mina ke kwamele ukuthi ngincike kulaba ke abaphana ngeenkonzo zoxhumanisa.
And perhaps did you ask him why the analysis was not done back in 2014, immediately after the incident occurred?
I didn't ask him. I just mentioned I received the raw data from him. So I didn't question him because I received a new tasking from him, and I know he's a new investigation team on the incident, on the matter.
Manje azange ngimbuze ukuthi ke lo msebenzi ke okanye lo phenyo ne lokho njani lena ke ulwazi olumayelana ke nama calls enziwe ngo2014 azange ngimbuze ngakho lokho ngoba phela ke ngangibona ukuthi kukhona ithimba labaphenyi kuleli cala ngavele nje ngachubeka ngenza umsebenzi ngendlela bengicela ngakhona ukuthi ngenze umsebenzi ngakhona.
Now, accused number 1 and 2, whom I represent, were arrested respectively. Accused number 1 on the 29th of May 2020, and accused number 2 on the 16th of June 2020. And their cell phones were confiscated from them when they were arrested then. Did you later on receive the cell phones for the purposes of downloads or extracts from them?
That's correct, my lord. I did receive more cell phone downloads as the investigation was taking part.
Masikhuluma ke ngalabo mangalelo ke umangalelo oqala nowesibini omnye ke umangalelo oqala waboshwa nge29 zika May 2020 kanti umangalelo wesibini yena ke waboshwa nge16 zika June 2020. Manje ke uthi yebo uma kuthathwa ke lama cell phones wabo kwaba nomsebenzi oqhubekayo wokuthi kukhishwe ke ama downloads athize atholakala kulawo ma cell phones wabo.
Now, the results of the downloads in respect of the cell phone numbers of accused number 1 and 2 after the arrest, what was the results thereof?
I'm not sure at this stage. Clear to me that there wasn't enough download evidence to analyze it. That's why I didn't mention anything in my testimony.
Manje ke yabona imiphumela ke ukuthi kuthathwe ama cell phones kaMangalelo oqala nowesibini bese kuyenziwa ama downloads kwaba imiphumela ke ebingazange ke yasinikeza ulwazi oluphelele.
Now, the documents or objects that you received from Brigadier Gininda, starting with the CD, what was contained in that CD?
That series in the beginning more contains the information of the residents of the house, because at that stage we was working on section 205, which we received from previous investigation teams. And the downloads.
Manje ke yabona leyo CD ke eyayiqhamuka kuye uBrigadier Gininda ibe mayelana nolwazi oluthize sasifuna ukuthi silithole mayelana ke nalabo behlala lapha yana endlini esigameko ngamanye amazwi ke futhi ke befanele ukuthi siyithole yona ke i-section 205 emayelana nabo ke labo bantu abasendlini ngesikhathi sesigameko.
And the section 205 that you referred to, is it the call details record in respect of the people that were in the house for their cell phones?
That's correct, my lord.
Manje yabuyithethe lokho ke i-section 205 lena ke iyayibandakanya labantu ababesendlini malana ke nezingcingo abazenza nama cell phones wabo ukuthi enze ziphi ingcingo ngaleso sikhathi.
I can also mention, my lord, there was a lot of other numbers of which previous investigation teams did apply for. So that's also included. Was not only the 6 or 8 people in the house, but it definitely include the people in the house.
Kodwa ke kwakhona ke namanye amanambolo ama cell phone number ngamanye amazwi abe kwenziwa ke uphenyo phezukwawo uma sibhekene nayo le section 205 bekungekhona ukuthi kuncikwe ekutheni kubhekwe labantu abangasendlini kuphela. Yebo bona laba abasendlini kwasetshenzwa ke ukuthi nabo kubhekwe ingcingo zabo kumakhalekhukhwini wabo nabanye ke kwakhona ke nezinye inambolo nje eziningi.
Now, from the people that were in the house, I know from testimony of Zandile Khumalo that Mthokozi Sithwala did not return to the scene of crime on that night, but rather he stayed at the hospital and he later on went to his house. Did you later on receive his cell phone also for download purposes and extraction?
My Lord, I can't testify in that. I only receive the download evidence from the downloader. And he who handed it over to Brigadier Gagina, from which I received it. So the chain before I can't testify on.
Angeke ngikwazi ke ukuthi inkulumo ukuthi kwenzakalani ngeselfoni kaMthokozi Sithwala. Mina ngathola ulwazi olwaluqhamuka kuye Brigadier Geninda. Kanti yena ke wathola lolo lwazi ke olwaluqhamuka kuye lo muntu obenza ama downloads. Manje ke mayelana nalokho ke akukho kuningi engakwazi ukukusho.
Now, your testimony is that not only the people that were in the house's cell phone numbers were downloaded. Interestingly for me, and it only came last week here in court, is the evidence of Ms. Ntabise Mokete, who states that at the hospital, she was in possession of 2 cell phones, and she borrowed those 2 cell phones to, amongst others, Kelly Khumalo and Mthokozi Sithwala, and that both made calls to other people that she doesn't know, but she overheard them over the calls, that is Kelly and Mtoko, saying to the people that they were calling that Mzoro or Nzori has been shot. Now my question basically is this: did a download occur with respect to that cell phone of Ms. Ntabise Mokete?
No, I can't recall anything of that.
Cha angikwazi ukuthi ngikhumbule nje ukuthi ngabe kukhona ke ama downloads enziwa mayelana nama cellphone kaNtabise Mokete, njengoba uNtabise Mokete ebufakazini bakhe akushilo lokho ukuthi uye wanikeza lama cellphone wakhe O2 wanikeza uKelly noMthokozisi, lapho ke kwazwakala ukuthi mabakhuluma khona lapha emakhalekhukhwini ukuthi umzoro noma umzori usedujuliwe. Uthi cha azange angikhumbuli lokho kwenziwa ukuthi ukuthatha ama downloads wefoni kalona uNtabise Mokete.
And furthermore, that from one of her calls, when there were cell phones, when it was later returned to her, Sillo Chico Twala returned the call on her number, meaning that one of Kelly Khumalo or Mthokozisi had called Chico on her cell phone.
My Lord, I cannot comment on anything who wasn't in my position.
Manje ke mina ngikwazi ukuthi mhlambe ngaphawula gotho olwalungekho kumina, njengoba kuthiwa ke emva kwalokho ke kwangena ilokho njani icall yayiqhamuka ku Sillo Chico Twala. Okungekwenzekayo ukuthi kulaba ababili kukhona obeke wamfonela ngenkathi esebenzisa lama cellphone lawa awu2 waka Ntabise Mokete. Uthi cha mina angeke ngikwazi ukuthi ngiphawuleke khona lapho ngoba lokho akukho kimi ezandleni zami.
Now your testimony is that the instructions from Colonel Geninda to you when he asked you to do the analysis and handed over to you the documents and whatever he gave to you, the instructions were as follows. 1, to determine whether there was communication between the targets amongst themselves and the people that were probably perpetrators, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Manje yebo kuyiqiniso lokho ukuthi uma ngithola ke umsebenzi wawo qhamuka kuye Brigadier Geninda, okokuqala waseke uyangitshela ukuthi kuhle kakhulu ukuthi kwenziwe lo msebenzi ke ukuthi sikwazi ukuhlaziya okanye sikwazi ukubhekisisa amakhola ekhona phakathi ke kwama lokho njani laba ke abasolwa nama targets lawo ukuthi ubhekene nabo.
And furthermore, the instruction was for you to check for photographs. Whose photographs were you checking and the nature of those photographs?
The photographs on the downloads of the people in the house, I did print them and handed it over to the investigation team.
Manje ke nokuthi kwamele ukuthi kucheckwe nama photo okanye izithombe zalabo abantu ke ababesendlini sibheke ke ama downloads ngikwazi ke ukuthi nginikeze laba ke ithimba laba phenyi becala.
And furthermore, to check and analyze whether there was communication between Zandile Khumalo with cell phone number 277467666669 and Tamsanqa Gabuza with cell number 2782992080, correct?
I can't recall that I did mention in my introduction when I gave my instructions which I received from Brigadier Gaginda that I mentioned such tasking.
Angikhumbuli nje ngendlela ekhethileyo nje ukuthi uma ngithola ke lo msebenzi ke okanye uma ngithola ama instructions ayiqhamuka kuye uBrigadier Gaginda ukuthi mangicheke nokuthi ngihlaziye le number lokakheli ukuthi waxhumana no Tamsanqa Gabuza leyo number lo ke ekakheli yiyo le ase ekhulume ngayo 277467666669 naleya number lo ke Gabuza uthi angikhumbuli ukuthi wa ke mangibheke ngaleyo ndlela.
Sorry, just for correction, the person that I'm referring to is communication between Zandile Khumalo, not Kelly Khumalo, Zandile Khumalo and Tamsanqa Gabuza.
On page 3, I did mention about the CD which I received from my brigadier, and then I discussed the points. I didn't discuss the points in briefly, where I said I was tasked to see if Zandile or Kelly was talking to the suspect or the other target. I never mentioned names on page 3.
Should go page number 3 azange ngikhulume ngamagama. Mina ke ngiyakhumbula ke ukuthi kukhona ke leyo CD eyayiqhamuka khona lapha yana ke ku Brigadier Gaginda mayelana ke ne section 205. Kwakufanele nje ukuthi ngithole ama cell phone downloads aweqhamuka khona le kuye owaye phenya lelo cala. Kodwa ke azange ngikhulume ke amagama kangako.
Now, if we refer, just for clarification purposes so that we are on the same page as we go forward, if we refer to call data records, what specifically are we talking about?
Section 205, which I received from, which the brigadier or someone received from the service provider.
Masikhuluma nge-call data records, sikhuluma nge-section 205. Kungukuthi ke ngiyayithola okanye umuntu ayithole ukuqhamuka ku Brigadier Gaginda noma ke kulaba ke abahlinzeka ngeenkonzo zokuxhumana.
You can also, from the download, also determine some of the last calls on the download, which will be indicated.
Kanti ke kwi-download ungakwazi ukuthi ubone ke ama-call okugcina akwaziwe ukuthi bawa download.
Now, for my purposes, so that I'm on the same page with you, the 205 will show you when the call took place, correct? That is the date and time of that call, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, kuyiqiniso ukuthi i-205 iyakwazi ukusho ke ukuthi lolu cingo lenzwa nini ngayiphi date ngamanye amazwi.
It will also show you how long the call lasted in minutes or in seconds, measured in those units, correct?
That's correct, the call duration.
Yeah, kuyiqiniso lokho khona lento ebizwa i-call duration. Lokho kuyabonisa ke ukuthi leyo call iyathatha isikhathi esingakanani?
And further, it will show you who called whom. That is the source and the destination of the number that's been called, correct?
That that will only show you the destination of the caller, not the guy who received the call. He will show you the destination of the guy who's making the call.
So
But the one who received the call, you don't know where is he.
okay.
Manje ke kahle ke ibonisa ke indawo yalona ofonayo. Hayi kangako indawo yalo ofonelwayo. Lo ofonayo uyena ke uthi makucheckwa bese kuyatholakala ukuthi ukuphi nendawo. Hayi lo ofonelwayo.
So sorry, I'm a bit lost because at the beginning of your testimony, you gave us an index of abbreviations that you were using. In the context of my question about who called whom, what is the MOC and what is the MOT?
The MOC is mobile original thing call. That is when I'm making the call.
Okay.
And the MTC is terminating. That is when I receive the call.
Okay.
So if I receive a call, then the call comes from someone else, but he will still show my position, which tower did I use to receive his call.
So, sorry for clarification. It doesn't show the tower of the caller.
No,
It shows the tower of the callee.
that's good. That's, no, not from the call here.
Yes.
Like I mentioned right in the beginning,
Yes.
I apply for section 205 on a number.
Yes.
I only get the information of that number.
Yes.
I don't know anything about the other numbers
Oh.
which I phone.
I'm with
I
you.
have to apply for 205 on that number and combine. Then I will know exactly where the two parties are.
I get you.
Okay.
I get you.
Engikushoyo ke uma sikhuluma nge-MOC sikhuluma nge-mobile originating call ingenkathi ke kwenziwa ke i-call ngamanye amazwi umuntu uthatha umakhalekhukhwini uyafona yiyo leyo ke leyo abbreviation ethi MOC kanti khona i-MTC i-mobile terminated call lokho ke kusho ukuthi uma ke umuntu esethola i-call ingene efonini yakhe kanti ke ithi ngizame ke ukuqondisa okuthize okwenzakalayo ukuthi mina mangenza isicelo sesection 205 kukhona ke amanambolo athize engenza isicelo ngawo hayi kangako ke ukuthi sesikhuluma ngokuthi umuntu othola i-call kuyabonakala ukuthi ukuphi noma umuntu owenza i-call uyatholakala okanye uyatholakala ukuthi ufona ekuphi kakhulukazi i-target yilama nambolo lawo enginawo yiwona ke esenza isicelo sesection 205 bese ke sikwazi ukuthi sithole ulwazi lokuthi lawo ma cellphone number esenza isicelo ngawo abe kuphi uma efona noma efonelwa ilokho engisho.
Okay. Now, based on your explanation, would you then agree with me that just because that a cell phone is associated with someone or belongs to someone would not necessarily show on the CDR, that is the call detail records, that that person, the owner, actually made that call?
That's correct, my lord.
Ukuthi ke akusho kangako ukuthi umnini wefoni nguyena ke owenza i-call kubhekwa nje leyo number lo ukuthi inumber leyo ke yafona.
And further, but more importantly, the CDR won't show that the fact that a cell phone was apparently made, it don't show the contents of what was said, correct?
That's correct, my lord.
Kanti ke oqukethwe yiyo le CDR angeke ukwazi ukuthi ibonakale angeke ukwazi ukusibonisa ukuthi kwaqukethwe ini kule CDR le.
So in summary, all in all, what a CDR shows us is that one cell phone made a call to another. That's it.
That's correct, my lord.
Kuyiqiniso ke CDR izosibonisa ke ukuthi kukhona ke cellphone ethize eyenza ke ucingo ifonela ke enye. Jebo kuyiqiniso lokho. CDR responsa lokho.
And furthermore, that just because two persons made cell phone calls to each other is not a criminal offense unless somebody is privy to the conversations that were had between the parties having a conversation, correct?
I don't understand your question.
Let me rephrase.
my lord.
Let me rephrase.
You have to rephrase.
What I'm trying to say is this: having a conversation on a cell phone with somebody else does not necessarily mean that it's a criminal offense, unless the offense is deducted from having somebody listen into the people talking, discussing, or planning a crime. Correct?
That's correct.
Yebo kuyiqiniso lokho ke. Ukuthi u-A uzofonela u-B akusilona icala lelo. Akusibona ubugebengu lobo. Ngaphandle kokuthi ke sekhona umuntu obelalela ukuthi labantu bakhuluma ngani, bahlose ini. Lokho ke kungenza ukuthi lokho kufonelana mhlambe ke kuxhunyaniswe ke nobugebengu obuthize. Kodwa ke ukuthi u-A wafonela u-B noma u-B wafonela u-A cha akusibona ubugebengu lobo.
Now, let's move on to an aspect of your testimony that starts with Exhibit 02 and at page 3 thereof. You, in your testimony, have attributed around about 9 cell phone numbers to, in fact, including the landline, about 10 cell phone numbers, that is 9 cell phone numbers and 1 landline to Kelly Kumalo, correct, in terms
Come
of
again, you
history?
said exhibit Q2.
Exhibit 0, is it 02?
No, it's definitely not O2. my lord.
It's
O2 is
two.
the one.
Q. Eh? Oh, sorry, it's 01. That's the bigger one. Yeah, 01. Thanks. At page, from page 3,
Yes.
that will be paragraph 5, where you attribute certain numbers to Kelly Kumalo through whatever means that you manage to attribute those numbers to her.
That's
right?
correct.
Yebo kuyiqiniso. Khona lapho ku page number 3. Khona ke amanambolo athize ke axhunyaniswa naye uKelly Khumalo.
And by the way, you say you attribute these numbers to her via the following links:
That's correct.
the family, friends, XDS, the police central database reference, the police crime administration system, e-notice, and Truecaller, correct?
That's correct.
Yebo ngixhumanisa ke uKelly Khumalo nalokho kulandelayo ke ushuthi ke nabangani abomndeni, XDS, expert decision systems, central database, e-reference, police crime administration system, e-notice, and Truecaller. Usho njalo ukuthi yebo kuyiqiniso.
My lord, I can also mention here that because of the fact that this numbers wasn't disclosed to the investigation teams previously, so there wasn't any 205s on all the other numbers because of the time lapse, which I already explained in the court last week.
Futhi ngenxa yokuthi kwasesekundluleke iminyaka emithathu lama number alana ke awaveleli okanye bekungeyona ke ingxenye yesicelo se205 ngenxa yesikhathi esiye sandlula 3 years emva kwesigameko.
Okay, all right. And now, as a layperson, there's something that I try to get my mind around when you are testifying on Thursday and Friday. When you say someone is linked via a certain telephone number, and that person and other persons are linked together, say for example, the link between Kelly Khumalo with her number specified is linked, say for example, to myself via Ubank, clientele, and maybe the net interpret. What do you mean by that link?
I mean that all the people you mentioned here as an example did call that number as well. It's like everyone in court could have phoned me. So all the people in court linking to me, they did speak to me or some other time.
Leyo link esikhuluma ngayo ke nawo ke umzekelo ukuthi uma sengicacisa ke indaba yokulinkwa kwenambolo ake sithi yimina ngifonelwa ke yiwo wonke umuntu okhona nje la enkantolo kushuthi ke yimina ke ilink kushuthi kufonelwa mina inambolo yami okanye lezo inambolo zilinkeka ke mina.
Okay, let me clarify it with a point that's relevant to this case. At page 5 thereof of your exhibit, and the last bullet point beneath that flow diagram of calls, which says, and I'm reading it verbatim, Kelly 27614562 with her other number, Kelly Kumalo 27729382482498. Contact 278765484416 clientele, as well as Muzika Ukulelwa Stemba Sibia at Muzi 2782603621. Can you explain that for me in the context of what I've just read now, that link concept?
That's the same as I also mentioned in the court right now. All three of that numbers did have contact with clientele.
Oh.
It's the same as what I said now, everyone in the court could have phoned me.
Yabona ke le paragraph le seyifundiwe iyazama ke ukucacisa lo amzekelo engiphene ngawo ukuthi uma wonke umuntu la enkantolo engifonela shuthi ke imina ilink lana ke ithi ke uKelly inambolo yakhe 2761456210 futhi nenye ke inambolo yakhe uKelly Kumalo 2772938248 wase ke uxhumana ne 278765484416 iclientele ke kwaba noxhunyano oluba khona ke phakathi no Muzika hlelwa Stemba Sibia at Muzi 2782603361 lana ke kuleli paragraph kusho khona ke ukuthi kwakufonelwa ke iclientele futhi ke ilink kwakuyi clientele ke la ilokho engikushoyo.
And perhaps if we move to page, it's not this page that I'm looking for. Okay, at page 19 of your, is it page 19? I'm sorry. Or at page 18 of that same exhibit where there's a big lettering of device boot up, and beneath that there's a box written page 7 of below that. If we go below that, there's in bold no calls made or calls been answered from phone 2782-704-4358 and no calls to the ACPS on the day of the murder. So what you are saying here in this sentence and what you testified about in court is that Kelly Kumalo, with this number of hers that we know that is attributed to her, did not call the police on the day of the incident, correct?
That's correct, my lord.
Uthi yabo kwiqiniso lokho ke ukuthi ngoba kubhaliwe lana ukuthi no calls made futhi ke azikho ingcingo ezenziwa okanye azikho ingcingo ezaphendulwa ezayiqhamuka ke mayelana ke nale nambolo ethi 2782 7044 futhi ke azikho ke ingcingo ke ezenziwa kufonelwa ke amaphoyisa iSAPS ngelanga ke lesigameko sokubulala. Yebo ngiyavuma ke lokho.
And would you know from your analysis of the numbers of all the targets that were in the house, except for Zandile Khumalo, who categorically stated in this court that she did not call the police nor emergency services, the other targets in the house, that is Makhumalo, Tumelo Madlala, Longwe Twala, Mtokozisi Twala, do you have anything that on their cell numbers they called the police or emergency on the night of the incident?
That's correct, my lord. I did check. I couldn't find any number of the police, even 10-111, from any of the phones in our position, which was on my analyst database.
Yabona ke kulezi zinto ke lama nambolo engangizama ukwenza ukwahlaziya ukuhlaziya lezo inambolo kakhulukazi ke kulabantu abesendlini okukhulunywa ngabo Tumelo Madlala, Mthokozisi Twala, uMakhumalo, Kelly Khumalo, ngaphandle ke koZandi ngoba ke uZandi ukushilo ke yena ukuthi azange akhona ukuthi afone, wakusho nje ethula ubufakazi bakhe la enkantolo. Ngithe ke usho njalo uthi ngithe ke mangenza ke uhlaziyo mayelana ke ne section 205 leyo azange ngithola inambolo kubo labantu esekhulunywe ngabo okuyibona ke ama targets. Ngabona ukuthi mhlambe kukhona oke wafonela ke amaphoyisa noma iambulance. Azange ngiyithole ke inambolo eyayizama ukufonela amaphoyisa noma iambulance.
Now let's move on to your testimony, and we go now to page 29 of this exhibit 001. Now, I want to clarify some aspects of your testimony. If we look at that flow diagram of charts and we go to the extreme left, the last number, because here the font is clearly visible, but I know that it refers to S. Sibia on the far left. If you look at your computer, perhaps you can clarify for us.
This left.
Sorry?
This side.
Yes, on the
Okay.
left. Yeah, perhaps if the pointer was there, but the far left one. Yes, that's right.
Yes.
What is the number attributed in respect of Muzi SCBA there?
2772-482-0045.
Kanti ke le nambolo ke ehamba okanye ehambiselana naye uMuzi Stemba Sibiya i 2772-482-0045.
Now, that number, we see that there's a connection that comes through the pyramid and goes to him. But the point is this. My consultation with accused number 1, whose name is mentioned there, he denies the attribution of that number to him, that he doesn't know that number and he has never used that number.
That is based on the information I received from the investigation team. For some other way, they did connect that number to suspect number 1.
Ngoba esho ke umangalelo oqala ukuthi leyo nambolo okuthiwa ke inambolo ke eyakhe akusiyona inambolo yakhe uthi ke mina ilokhu njani ulwazi engalithola kulabo abaphenya icala ngendlela abasebenze ngakhona ukuthi bagcineke sebexhumanisa ke umangalelwa nale nambolo lena ke ebhalwe la.
Now, if we move on the other opposite side of the spectrum, on the far right,
That one.
below that, there's, where it talks about Mabungu Ntuli below, yes, the Mabungu Ntuli, then linking to Muzi, Sibia, and Bongani Ntanzi. You've clarified this point because I was quite perplexed when you testified that Mabungu Ntuli is actually number 5, suspect number 5, but you've clarified that earlier this morning. Now, my point with regard to that is this. In consultation with accused number 1, he states that Mabungu Ntuli, the deceased, is his uncle from the maternal side of the family. Right? And so the contact between them, it's their family, they contact each other. However, the main contact, that number of Sandiso Bongani Ntanzi communicating with Mabungu Ntuli, my instructions are that Sandiso Ntanzi does not know Mabungu Ntuli. He's never met him. They've never communicated.
Njalo nje. Umangalelo wokuqala okuyena lana uSibiya. Uthi lona Mabungu Ntuli umalume wakhe. Uthi umalume ovele ochama ngapha ngakubomama uma wakhe. Lowa osewashiya kuMabungu washiya. Kanti ke masiza kuye lona ubongani uSandiso Ntuli Ntanzi. Bongani Sandiso Ntanzi. Cha mina lo Mabungu angimazi. Angazi ngixhumana noMabungu. Angazi ngimfonele lo Mabungu. Yilokho akushoyo. Salindele impendulo ngakho.
No comments. The linkages was done by my analysis by the AMB program. For some other reason, there were some links.
Now, if we look at the
Mina
same...
ke angikwazi ukuthi ngasho okuthize ngalokho ke. Khona ke lolu hlelo olubizwa uAMB program. Ulona umsolwa waxhunyaniswa ke ngaleyo ndlela kusetshenziswa leyo program okuyi AMB.
Now, if we look at the number for Sandiso Bongani Ntanzi with respect to that diagram, what is the number that is there?
This one, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the number is 27609016890.
Okay.
Uthi ke leyo number lo ekhulunyiswa naye lona uNtanzi, inumber lo yakhona ke ethi 27609 016890.
Now, I've consulted with accused number 2, and he acknowledged and accepts that that is his number, that number that you've just read out now. However, he only acquired this number in 2019 when he bought a new phone, the Samsung J5. He has never used this number during 2014.
I can't comment on this as well because this phone is not Rika on his name. So it could be, it could not be.
Angikwazi ke uPaula. Ngaphela le phone le ayirikhwanga egameni lakhe. Lokho akushoyo ukuthi yena uqala ukusebenzisa le number lo ngo2019, ngo2014 kayesebenzisa leyo number esiyishilo. Uthi kunokwenzeka kuyakhonakala ngoba ke leyo phone ayizange ike irikwe egameni lakhe. The Lordship, accused number 2 sent this up.
My Lord, if I may have a moment. I mean, that hurts, my Lord. My instructions just now is that accused number 2 is adamant that this number was recut because it came with the phone when he bought it from the store. It was recut in store.
But it's not to say it's mentioned is in his name, my lord. It could be means Rika in any family member with an iBook.
Manje akwenzeki ithi ngibeka ngalendlela uthi ke kunokwenzeka ukuthi iRikiwe kodwa ayirikhwanga ngaphansi kwegama lakhe kunokwenzeka ukuthi ke khona ilunga lomndeni elenza ke ukuthi leyo cellphone irikwe.
Again, my lord, let me clarify this point with you. Once again, I'm indebted, my lord. Colonel, as you can see by the hand gestures, he's adamant that this number was not recorded in a family member's name. It was recorded in his name, and he bought the phone in Rustenburg as he was staying in Rustenburg in 2019. So it was never recorded in a family member's name. It was used, his ID was used to record this number.
No, my lord, I can't testify to that because I did check the numbers if I could trace anyone to prove ownership, and I couldn't find it.
Okay, just,
Let's.
okay.
Mina ke angikwazi ukuthi Paula kangako kulokho ke ngoba ngeke ngazama ukuthungatha ukuthi ubani umnikazi ke wale cellphone number lena manje ayivezi ukuthi i-cellphone erikiwe kahle njengoba ummangalelwa esho ukuthi yena wathenga le cellphone ayithenga ke eRustenburg kanti ke waphinde ke wayirikha khona lapho eRustenburg hayi ukuthi ke yarikwa ngelunga lomndeni uthi mina ngazama ukubheka ukuchecka ukuthi i-cellphone lena ke ubani umnikazi wayo ngathola ukuthi leyo cellphone azange ngirikwe.
Yeah, just one clarification. Does your client allege, you see, it's okay to say I bought it in Rustenburg. It could be bought from a shop which is accredited as a service provider for these devices. Or I could have bought it from Ratamo Khatleng, who was selling it at the bus stop. Are you with me?
I'm getting.
Where exactly does he say he bought that piece? Then you can say Mr. Stein, Colonel Stein must respond to that. Because he insists that he bought it, right? Where? Is that not what you want to find out? Because you're saying when you did your analysis, you could not link it to any record
That's correct, you
number.
That's correct.
Are you with me?
Yeah, let me get my lord if it was. Thank you, my lord. I'm indebted. The clarification point that I get is the following. That he bought this at a store. Either he bought at two stores, his clothes and everything, it was either Dan's or Markham's in Rustenburg. And the SIM card and the phone came together as one unit. He did buy the SIM card separately and the phone separately. When he bought the phone, they also gave him that 99-cent SIM card, and it was recut in store, either Dan's or Markham's. But he insists that it was recut using his identification document that he produced in store.
My Lord, I'm also not clear now because he started with, he said he bought it in store, like as a contract phone. Now he comes with a 99-cent SIM card. That doesn't match.
Doesn't correlate.
That's correct.
We've never said anything about the contract phone.
But that's my point now.
Yes.
A 99 cents, you not in store. You go home and record it.
No, not,
Yes.
not necessarily. I don't want to
The
testify.
one in store is for free. I did it last week.
I did it also last week
Yeah.
on my phone.
Please.
So we don't want to
Wait.
debate. I understand, man.
Let the witness respond.
Manje ke akushoyo ke ukuthi umangalelwa uthi uthenge i-cellphone lena eDans noma ke eMarkham's Rustenburg. Kanti le phone mayiza ize iveli nayo ilokhu njani i-SIM card ngaphakathi kanti irikiwe khona lapho la ayithenge khona nge-99-cent SIM card. Uthi ke yabona ke kulapho ke izinto ke ifike igcubuzane khona ke ngoba phela ke uma kuthiwa 99 cents usho ukuthi ke iyokwenziwa iyorikwa ekhaya ngoba ngeke ngaye uphendula kanjalo fanele kube ukuthi irikwe ekhaya hayi eshop kwaba ke nokuphikisana kuba khona ke kanjalo.
In any event,
No, we must clarify that point because
okay,
you are disputing the validity of Colonel Stein's explanation that 99 cents can only be recut at home and not at the store. And you are saying he is wrong.
my lord, then I'll have to testify because my phone was stolen
No,
in
you-
an Uber.
Just listen to me.
Yes,
You are putting it to him that
Yes.
it can be done
yes,
with a 99,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
in the shop.
In the shop.
In the shop.
In the shop.
And you, Colonel, you say that can happen.
No, it can happen if I stand and do it in the shop.
In the shop. or
In the
see-
shop. I can stand anywhere. I can stand at home in street anyway
Yeah.
and do it.
Okay.
Uthi ke isho ukuthi uma yenziwa yimi ngase shop yenzeka ngaloko ngithatha isinqumo sokuphuma ke kuleyo shop ngime ngaphandle ngirike ngaphandle nganquma nokuthi mhlambe ngihambe ngiye ekhaya futhi angiphiki kangako ukuthi ngaphakathi kweshop ingenziwa kodwa ke uthi ngayenza mina ngaphakathi eshop leyo nto leyo yokurika ke
My Lord, I can just mention, it's not about the phone, Rika with a 99 cent or not. It's been, he admit the phone number belongs to him. And according to my A&B analysis, prove, like I testified last week, that the suspects in front of court do know each other. There's linkage between them. So he actually just admit that it's his number and they do link.
manje akusikangako ke ukuthi i-cell number lena irikwe egameni lakhe kodwa ke i-cell phone number lena ekwazi ukuthi ixhunyaniswe nokuthi wafonelwa abani njengoba ke kuloko kwenziwa uphenyo kanjalo.
Just repeat that number so that
It's
which you state that he is now admitting that it is his number.
That's correct. The number is 27
27
609 01 6890.
Yabona ke leyo number lo ke kuthiwa umangalelo uyayivuma ukuthi inumber yakhe leyo 827-609-01-6890.
Now, you see, Colonel, you also confuse me. You stated that when you checked that number, you could not determine its ownership, yet you allocated to Ntanzi. And by his own, being frank and open with the court, he says, yes, that's my number, but I can explain that I got this number in 2019. I could not have phoned the deceased who died in 2013 or 14 with this number.
I just mentioned earlier in this court that I received information from the investigation team.
Mina ke sengingaqaqisa le nkantolo ukuthi phela ngathola ulwazi okanye ingxenye yalobu bufakazi okanye ingxenye yophenyo ukuqhamuka kule thimba labantu abaphenya leli cala. Mina ngathola ulwazi qhamuka ezandleni zabantu abaphenya icala. Ilokho engisho.
Now, at page 35 of your exhibit, you testified about Kelly Khumalo's alleged stolen phone, correct?
That's correct.
Yebo ngisho kanjalo ukuthi ke kumayilana ke no ne cellphone ka Kelly Khumalo yantshontshwa ngapha kule page 35. Ngikhuluma ngalokho ke.
And the phone that was stolen, do you know what make it was?
I didn't mention it here, but I can go back to my original IMP charge and I can determine it.
Manje angeke ngikwazi angiyifakanga lana ukuthi uhlobo luni lwefoni kodwa ngaloko ngibuyele emuva ke ngiyocheck ukuthi kwakuyihlobo luni lwefoni.
And the cell number that was used for that phone, would I be correct to say that, and you check it for me, if it was 2772-938-2498, is that the correct
That's
number?
correct.
Yebo kuyiqiniso ke inumber leya setshenziswa kuleyo cellphone engenagama okwamanje ethi 2772-938-2498.
And do you know when was the last recorded activity on that phone, be it calls, texts, whatever? Do you know?
The last activity on that phone was at 23:51:38 seconds when there was a call forward on that phone.
Ukuthi ke what it was a call forward.
Yes.
Kube ne call forward ke ngamanye amazwi mhlambe khona ungazange waphendula ifoni makafonelwa nge 26 ka October 2014 isikhathi sasethi 23:31:38 seconds.
And after that call forward on that time and date, the 26th, was there any other activity that you know occurred on that phone?
That's correct. It did go on the 27th. Next page. 2 pages. But like I mentioned to the court last week, there was no action on the phone. The phone was switched off. There was a lot of people phoning that number. Didn't know the phone is stolen.
Manje uma sengishilo bese sengishilo la nkantolo ukuthi leyo cellphone ibibuka njenge cellphone eyayiseyiqinyiwe. Kwakukhona abantu abaningi ke abebezama ukufonela yona leyo cellphone.
Now, Zandile Khumalo testified in this court, and in relation to that phone, she says unknown someone, called her on that phone with that number, demanding money from her, and that person was thinking that Zandile Khumalo was actually Kelly Khumalo.
My lord, let me go and see if I got the cell phone numbers, the analysis of Zandi Khumalo here, because if it's from that number, it should have shown here, and there's nothing on there. Let me just double check.
Shothi mangabe ke leyo number ke yafonela ulokho njani uZandi efuna ke imali kuZandi mhlambe icabanga ukuthi kwakukheli ebefanele ukuthi leyo number iyavelela khona la kuleni imininingwane enginayo ke yama calls lana okanye incingo.
My lord, if Zandile Khumalo was using the number ending with that 666 or 66669, didn't phone to that number, then she was using another number. but definitely not on the 66669 number.
Uma ngabe ke mhlambe wafonelwa kanjalo lo Zandi Khumalo bengekhona kule number lena ethi 66669 mhlambe bekungaba enye number kodwa hayi le.
And according to my IMB chart here, there wasn't any communications. No one phoned, no one talked to anyone, nothing. It's only call forward.
Uyabona ke ukuya ngale AMB chat yami la akekho wafonela omunye lana ke futhi ama call forwards wonke.
That's her evidence. Now, with regard to a SIM card, do you know if a SIM card, a different SIM card was inserted in that device subsequent to this last call that you referred to?
No.
Lokho anginalo ulwazi wakho ukuthi mhlambe kwafakwa enye SIM card nje khona lapho. Cha, anginalo ulwazi.
But now we must also remember that we received it long time behind after that.
Siloko sikhumbula ke ukuthi lokho sakuthola emva kwesikhathi. Imininingwane lesinayo ke iyathola emva kwesikhathi esithize.
And just for clarification, if I understood your testimony correctly, it is that with respect to that so-called stolen phone and the cell number that we've referred to, you stated that the last call on that phone was at around 20:52 and some seconds, and that call was apparently made to Kelly Khumalo by a relative of Senzo Meyiwas, correct? Did you say something to that effect?
I'm not with you now. You said on this phone?
Yes, the last call was at 20:52. Just clarify for me, I may have heard you incorrectly. You said the last call on that stolen phone was on the 26th of October at around 20:52, and a call was made from a relative of Senzo Meyiwas. Is that what I heard?
2022.
No, that is not correct.
Yeah, there's no evidence like that.
Okay.
I
all right,
think my colleague is referring to the information on page 30, where it says last call received on 26 October 2014, 08:52:16 from Ntugutula Meyiwa.
Oh. No, it's clear up, my lord. That was, as I said, I don't want to put something that's wrong to you. I'll withdraw that.
Thank you, my lord.
Yeah.
Uyayikhokhisa le othi last call yatholakala ukuthi ke ubekhuluma ngayo lena eyenziwe nge-26 ka-October 2014 8:52 le ye Truecaller
I see we're just about to go for the short adjournment. I'm going to move on to a totally new aspect and then finish up after Timani.
Okay.
If you can adjourn now.
Tea adjournment.
Yes.
Okay, yes. What's your time?
It's nearly 11:15.
I thought you can have tea anytime.
Anytime is tea time, madam.
Okay, adjourn.